Hello everybody, I'm speaking to Clare Holden, who is an empowerment coach. I want to start by asking you what the basics of empowerment coaching is about.
For me, empowerment coaching is about saying we live in a world that's always on, where we all have so many different roles. You know, most of us are partners, romantic partners, parents, we have our jobs, we have family, we have friends. There are just so many obligations. And for a lot of people, it's hard to say no. And we only get 168 hours in a week. So what are we gifting our time to? I think so many of us use electronic calendars, and so you're just clicking yes.
And just
we don't stop and think.
Yeah, correct.
And so empowerment coaching is really tools and strategies that I've researched, discovered for myself, and developed over time working with clients to say, how can we identify what's most important to us as an individual and what our best life and legacy should be?
Yeah.
And how do we set up frameworks so that we can unapologetically say no to the things that aren't important to us?
Great.
Because no matter what we're trying to achieve, if we don't prioritize our priorities, life is not going to do it for us.
That's it.
And so empowerment is saying, what are my priorities and how do I own it?
Okay. Now, you also particularly coach a lot of entrepreneurs.
I do.
And I can imagine the benefit must be amazing, because it is sometimes so hard when you're in the trenches to know how to prioritize what is kind of keeping you alive and what's keeping your business going forward.
And I think that difference between being an entrepreneur and delivering a service, whatever your core reason for being is, and being an entrepreneur and a business owner, those are two very different things. I think what happens is we get so absorbed with the doing of our business that we don't think about what the business is. So what is the reason for the business? What is my strategy? We work in our business, we don't work on it. And so a lot of the entrepreneur coaching that I do is saying, let's work on your business. You're great. If you're seeing me, it's usually when you're about 2 years old. It means you're great at working in your business.
And that works.
But usually you haven't been working on it. So what is your staffing like? What are your processes like? What is your strategy like? I've seen it with myself as a coach. I love the coaching or the journaling part of my business, but I have to work on the business. I've got to be doing marketing. I've got to be creating content. I've got to be developing programs. And how do we toggle between the two? And I think that's what's so interesting to me working with entrepreneurs is having that privilege of a space to be the strategic thinking partner. I met a coach who calls himself an invisible wingman. But it's this idea of having a thinking partner to really work on the business.
Great. And also you use journaling particularly as a process, which I find fascinating, because it means that we write things down and we commit to things almost in a sort of a structured sense. But
absolutely.
Do you want to comment on that?
So for me, I use this planning template. I've actually changed it a bit to put in more habit trackers so that we really know what we want to achieve. But the idea is, what am I gifting my time to? And more importantly, what are the roles I identify as most important, and what are the goals I want to achieve this week?
Very beautiful.
Because success in life is an accumulation of successful days. So if I set my intention for a day, I'm saying, what does success today look like? And the more successful days I have, the more successful my ultimate outcome is. But we need to set that desire. We need to be clear on what success looks like and what we're trying to achieve.
And track it every day, essentially, right?
You know, human beings work best for a deadline. I don't know if you were the kid who always studied because you had joy from it, or whether you were the kid who kind of grafted because you had a test. Which is how most of us were, right?
Absolutely.
And in real life, when we don't have goals, we don't have a deadline. So it's easy to just kind of keep pushing it out. I call it withdrawals from your personal integrity bank account.
That's it.
Because we're letting ourselves down. We're saying, I want to do this. It's not the end of the world.
And also something I want you to comment on. We talked earlier about how one commits to a long-term plan, and in a personal level, how easy it is for us to just adjust that plan sort of daily or annually or whatever?
Absolutely. Well, we don't put any accountability indicators into our personal life. So in our business life, we have strategies, we have goals, we have performance appraisals, we have directors meetings, management meetings. There's this ongoing feedback loop and evaluation of how we're doing.
Because we know how to do this stuff. Yeah.
And we would never run a business without doing that. But we don't do it for our personal lives.
Life. Very interesting.
And so for me, it's saying, what is the plan and what are the indicators? Where are the performance indicators? I need to go and ask my husband how I'm doing, or my children how I'm doing. I need to be evaluating whether what we're doing collectively is working.
On track. Yeah.
So in my personal life, I am a co-director of Holden Inc. And how seriously am I taking my fiduciary responsibilities?
Yes. Makes a lot of sense.
We need to be having meetings and be more intentional. And I think this idea for me of empowerment is saying, what is that role? Let me really understand what success is and hold myself accountable on an ongoing basis to it.
Excellent. Claire, if people want to get hold of you, what can they do? Where do they find you?
Best bet at the moment is to email me, claire@changeinmindset.co.za.
Great. And wonderful insights. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you.
Till another time. Cheers.